Good morning, folks. What is up? Today we are going to amend the garden beds and plant my garlic that came in. So I'm going to show you how I pull compost that's not quite finished out of my compost pile, and I'm going to top dress the bed that I am putting the garlic in, and then we're going to plant the garlic for this winter to be harvested next spring. So my back is not totally healed yet, but I'm going to take things slow. I feel a lot, that's a lie. I feel kind of better, but I'm so tired of being stuck inside. So I want to bring you guys along with me, and we're just going to get this garlic planted because it shouldn't take too much effort. It might hurt my back a little. Look. So I can move a little bit. Kind of. Like that. It would totally be full range of motion with a little bit of ibuprofen and a lot of vodka. It's a little cold this morning. Maybe cold. It's chilly this morning, maybe like 50s, low 50s. We're still having maybe a 30 to 40 degree differential between the daytime temperatures and the nighttime temperatures. So that's hard on the plants. But since most of my crops are cool weather at this point, they're doing okay. Today, we're not gonna feed the chickens right now this morning because since I'm gonna be outside, I'm going to just let them out and cruise. Really, girl? Baby. So if you guys remember from my previous videos, the bed that we're going to be amending is the pepper bed. I am not taking these peppers out yet. They're still growing, they're still ripening, so they're going to stay in there, but I have opened up the area a lot. There's a bunch of space in here for me to plant the garlic since they won't need sunlight immediately. I won't harvest the garlic until maybe April or May of next year, maybe March. But it takes a while to grow. It grows very slowly over the winter, and according to my local extension office in New Mexico, around October 15th is a really good time to start garlic and onions. So that's where I'm putting the garlic. Don't ask me where I'm putting onions, I don't know yet. But first, we have to amend that bed because there's been a little bit of fertilizer added over the summer months, but it has not had any sort of amendments the whole summer growing season. So in order for this garlic to thrive, I need to add in more nutrients to the soil. Oh! So what we're gonna be using today is this, which is an old bee feeder that's obviously not in use because my bees absconded. But what we're gonna do is shovel compost into here and basically sift out the smallest particles to then top dress the old pepper bed with. Now, if you've seen my previous compost video, you know that this is old finished compost mixed with new greens and browns. I just continually add to my compost pile. So when I do need some small amounts of amendments, I can just dig into the middle of the pile, pull out good stuff, and then keep this going. We want to get in here to the middle where it's probably going to be the warmest. And this is where I'll probably screw up my back in real time. So you don't have to go very far to get to the softer, better stuff. Normally I would dig a little bit farther in. Honestly, normally I would flip the pile just at the same time that I'm sifting out the compost I need, but I can't do that with my back today. What I can do is get this garlic planted. So we're just gonna do the bare minimum to keep myself safe but still get work done. And from here, ooh, ouch. And from here, we just want to shake back and forth. until all of these large brown particles are left over, which we will toss back in the compost. And then left is nice, soft, loamy compost that is perfect for top dressing. So I'll just do that over and over until I have maybe a third of the wheelbarrow filled. I think that will cover the bed. Look at the treat that I have. Pretty girls. Alright, we are back at the beds, and what I need to do now is take all of the old straw mulch off so that I can top dress, and I will put that same straw mulch back on when we're done. So this is probably my favorite bed. Obviously I've talked about it for the last 3 videos, but this pepper bed this was the first bed I built when I bought the property. And all of my beds are no-till, so every year I've just added amendments and added homegrown compost without ever disturbing the soil underneath. And honestly, the fertility in this bed is just out of control. I plan to just plant anything that I want buku amounts of in this bed for the rest of my life. It's just so moist and rich and soft and loamy. It's amazing. If you guys are wondering what all these little terracotta pots are, these are called oyas. Oyas are traditionally basically closed terracotta pots with a little tube at the top, and you bury them in the soil and fill them with water in arid climates. What the clay does is it slowly releases water to the surrounding soil over time, so that the soil underneath stays moist even if the top of the soil is super dried out. And if I can pull one of these guys up for you and show you, you'll actually see root attachments all around the bottom of the pot where the plants have found a constant water source. I don't have a great one because I've kind of been drying off these peppers since it's the end of the season. But in this hole you can see where all the roots from the surrounding pepper came. Let me show you. So here's the hole that the pot came out of, and you can see all these roots just sitting. And essentially you fill this with water. You fill this with water, cover it up so there's little evaporation. And in my climate, the oyas are gone within like the water inside them is gone within about 2 days. But it does help a lot. Now if you wanted to buy these, they're a little pricey, like the original terracotta clay fancy ones with the little spout on top. These are, I don't know what size pots these are. You get them at Lowe's or Home Depot in a pack, super cheap. You even get them on sale during the fall. So these work just as well. Do that instead. The only thing you have to do, I should do a separate video on this honestly, is you have to caulk the bottom. So what I used is plumber's putty, just because that drainage hole in the bottom of a traditional pot is for plants to grow in, not to hold water. So you got to fill it with something, but other than that, this is a much cheaper option, is using those 5-inch terracotta pots. Alright, that's about good for removing the straw. I had 2 5-gallon buckets. I'm not going to be a big stickler about getting all the pieces. I intend for that to break down and compost in the bed over time anyways. I don't want any huge chunks, but I'm not gonna waste my time trying to pick out every piece of straw in the bed. So what we're gonna do now is top dress the bed with the compost and then get to planting. This was not nearly enough compost. And I don't know what I'm more mad about, the fact that I need another load or the fact that I'll probably need 2. All right guys, so we are back. I did another large load of compost, spread it out, and slight wardrobe change because it is warming up. But let me show you what it looks like. So as you can see, I covered up the original soil and just evenly spread the top compost out so that it made semi-flat surface to plant into. It's not completely covered, but I will add more compost once I take the rest of the peppers out of this bed. Hi. So now we've come to my favorite part, which is planting. But let me so I got my garlic from Fertility Garlic Farm, and I'll spell that out on the screen. I am not affiliated with them. I've never used them before. Gross, dude. I ended up, girl, I love you, but I ended up finding their website after researching different specific garlic companies to shop for. Their website was very, very user-friendly and had a ton of information about garlic that I never knew before. So that immediately intrigued me. And like I said, I'm not affiliated with Fertility Garlic Farm. I'm just really pleased with their service and their website and the garlic that I received. So we'll see how it grows into next year. But the varieties I got were Russian Red, Ajo Rojo, and Nootka Rose. So these are 3 different types of garlic. The Nootka Rose is a silver skin, the Ajo Rojo is a Creole, and the Russian Red is a marbled purple stripe. I'm not gonna go into the differences of types of garlic in this video. I highly suggest you do your own research and figure out what works for your area. I don't know what works for my area yet. I've only planted garlic once. So this is an experiment. So since I'm so new to this property, I constantly experiment because I want to streamline the growing process in the future and plant things that I know are gonna work both for the family and in this climate. So let's get to planting. So to begin, you're gonna separate out all your cloves from the bulbs you receive in the mail. What I'm doing here is just putting the individual cloves in the spot that I want them to be, because once I bury them in the soil, I will immediately forget where they went. Cloves should be planted 2 inches deep, approximately. You can give or take half an inch or so. You want the pointy end up. The top of the clove goes up because that's where the shoot comes out, and the bottom is where the roots come out. You can plant them multiple ways. I just demonstrated digging a hole, placing the clove in the bottom of the hole. This way is using like a dibble stick and just creating a hole with some sort of stick, or if you have an exact dibbler, you can use that, and placing the clove in. Frankly, I just take the whole clove and shove my hand into the soil, approximately 2 inches deep. Planting is not an exact science, so don't worry about it. You gotta be sure to cut the stems all the way off the peppers, because this will happen. This little guy growing back, he's shishito I cut down weeks ago, and he's regrowing from the little bit of stem I had left because I don't kill the roots. So just to make sure that that plant doesn't keep growing and the roots interfere with my garlic's roots, just make sure you lop it off beneath the soil level. Alright guys, so we have a problem. I already killed 4 pepper plants. But I think I'm gonna need to trim up a couple of these just because I can't get under the understory of the peppers to plant the garlic. And I don't want to take these out because these are my pride and joys, the padron and the Thai pepper that are doing really well right now. So I think I'm just gonna trim up the bottom branches, continue to let these peppers ripen, and go from there. But rest in peace for pepper plants. Alright guys, all of the bed is planted with the garlic, and I'm gonna record where I planted everything because I absolutely will forget. So here I have the ajo rojo Creole garlic, and then from here until there I have the Russian red marbled purple stripe, and then down in here in between this third and the last of the bed, I have the Nootka Rose, which is a silver skin. And I didn't plant all of the Nootka Rose. I got double of this one. I am splitting it with my mom. And now all that's left to do is remulch the bed, and I'm gonna give it a light watering. The soil is pretty moist, but I'm gonna give it a watering just to water it in. And then we'll be done. One of the difficult things about growing in the desert is requiring the use of mulch after you've direct sown plants. See, it's too dry and arid here for me to just leave the soil uncovered because any seeds that I plant are immediately going to dry out within half of a day, and they'll never germinate. So we have to use mulch to keep the top of the soil moist even in the winter. But if you direct sow seeds and then cover them with mulch, sometimes there's a little bit of a difficulty with them sprouting because their leaves can't get past the straw or the mulch or whatever type of mulch you're using. So I've never had a super hard time. I did show you guys in another video how I make a little pocket like this if I'm planting seeds. For this garlic, I'm not going to do that. I didn't have any difficulties last year, and I am very lightly putting this mulch over. So you can basically see the dirt right here. So there shouldn't be a problem with this garlic sprouting, and I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried about keeping the soil in good condition so that they grow. You want to be kind of like real light with your straw distribution because you don't want it to mat. If it mats, then there's going to be nothing coming down from top or coming up from the bottom. Just make sure it's real loose, but it is going to retain a little bit of moisture covering the soil as is. Well guys, that's all I have planned for today. I'm gonna water this bed in, take the dead pepper plants to the compost. And I got a pretty good haul. It's not bad from these peppers that I pulled up. But thank you guys for joining me today, and I will catch you on the next one.